well with the suits. Should I get a suit or should I just go straight? Let's go normal. Yeah, it might be a problem. No suit. That part's settled. Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How we doing out there? Happy Hurricane Wednesday. We actually survived. Maybe a chair fell over or something. It really wasn't a big deal here. Lots of rain, but no real problems. So we're here with you live again today. Thanks for putting up with us yesterday. This is a quick show that we do called The Closing Beat. We could talk about the stock market, all the good stuff there. And I, yours truly, was invited to a happy hour with what is the largest financial advisor in the United States, and Barron's and some other people. And so it's like a round table kind of a thing. And it just occurred to me that I don't have I wear a hoodie, right? So I'm like, should I go like that? You know, is that something? Now I know that I would be potentially the largest advisor in the state going to this. So I'm like, is it sort of an ego thing? Can I wear that? What should I do? I got to wear pants, or something. So that is, what is that? Next week? That is on, that's 2 weeks from now, 2 Mondays from now. So I don't know. I don't get along well usually with advisors, so we'll see how that goes. It'll be fun either way, and apparently the drinks are on them, so how can you not go? Anyways, welcome to our show. By the way, thanks, Randall. Randall sent in an unbelievable record. I've actually heard this before, but never had one. Just awesome. Going to make me hook up their old record player at home and everything. Dig it out of the boxes because we're kind of under construction, so I really appreciate that, Randall. Thank you for doing that. Let's talk about the stock market here today. What's going on? You know what I mean? What's going on out there? Middle of the summer, low volume, still a decent amount of action, but we've got some things that we've got to cover here. So let's get started here. The S&P was your leader today, and also, by the way, the leader year to date. As of the last month or so, it's really the mega cap names that have helped really this little move here, right? It's all due to those mega cap names. Let me show you real quick. If we pull this up here, I'm going to go back out of this stuff. We'll come back to that here in just a second. Let's take a look. We got Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, and Amazon. And what I want to do is just go year to date, show you the performance. Look at what's happened here over the last month. All of these stocks have actually started moving higher, but look at the S&P is going to be in red or pink or something. That little blip, that little tiny move that we've seen here, really all because of these 4 names and maybe just 1 or 2 others in the mix as well. So you have, again, a stock market being led higher by just a handful of names. When those handful of names take a break, what do you think the stock market's going to do? You think the rest of the sectors are just going to come and hold everything up? There was a little bit of that today. So I'll be honest, there was a little bit of that today. But otherwise, we've got just a handful of names lifting this market higher. If you look inside the S&P here today, Apple was your biggest contributor to the gains. No doubt it's doing well. I have no complaints about that at all. One of the bigger, was the biggest contributor today. Oracle was your biggest gainer, I believe, overall. The only real weakness that showed up today, in my opinion, that stood out, semiconductors. Here's Micron trying to push back towards its 200-day. AMD lost a little bit more. There we go. So AMD down just a little bit more. And then you have all of those other names in there as well. That's one of the areas, right? So you're going to have Xilinx in there, all kinds of them, actually. Digging a little bit deeper, you have the reopening stocks, I think that's what they call them there. Carnival Cruise moving lower here today. One of the bigger losers in the S&P 500. You had Norwegian Cruise Lines also. And just look through some of those names. If it's in hospitality, if it's in leisure and travel and things like that, they just continue to pull back. There's actually a lot of stocks in a lot of sectors that look like this right now. How is it that everything else is sort of getting weaker, but just a few names are getting stronger, which means the market's moving higher? Remember the last time we talked about that? That was a big issue for the stock market. We'll see if that happens again. So you got the NASDAQ here, comes in second place here today. It is up 15% year to date. If you're looking inside, well, let's see what we have here. So if you're looking inside the NASDAQ, you're going to find a handful of stocks in here. Well, first of all, new record highs. You can't deny that. It's all led by big tech today. Apple, we've already talked about. Microsoft in there as well, hitting new highs, looking good. Semiconductors continue to be the weaker spot there. A couple biotech names stick out. Biogen waking up after its big pop there the other day. And then more related to tech, but still in that leisure sort of space there. Look at like Booking Holdings. This is leisure as well, just obviously a tech play. Booking pulling back to the 200-day as well. A lot of that stuff going on in just between the major indices. Netflix been a choppy, sloppy mess here. Looks like it's waiting for earnings season to wake back up, which, by the way, starts next week. So if you looking for a little excitement over the summertime, that's what you have coming up there. But other than that, it's a lot of the same there. Some biotech weak today. I would point out maybe Costco. Costco hit new highs, continues to look really, really, really good. But that's basically about it for the NASDAQ. Let's go on over to the Dow here. The Dow is currently trading in last place year to date. It had a decent day today, a third of a point, 120 plus points. Not too bad there, but if you look inside the Dow, it's a mixed bag. Energy, as well as in the NASDAQ and the S&P, energy, one of the weaker spots still as oil keeps pulling back off of those highs. Down about 1% on Chevron. And just a handful of other things. Walgreens all the way back to the 200-day, almost perfectly kissing it there. So kind of interesting there. Semiconductors like Intel, you get the theme, right? Intel was weak today. So all of that across all the major indices basically stays the same. Where you saw action, where you saw weakness there, kind of stays the same. We've got a Guess the Dow winner. I'm going to let Cody announce that here for those of you that are playing along with the Guess the Dow. What do we got?
Our winner last week was Ashish. Ashish won last week. He is not a client, so he's going to take the gift card, $100 gift card. So we'll be getting that out to him shortly. So congratulations to him. Our winners this week, our leaders this week. We got Andrew, Glade, and Ben are in the top 3. And if Andrew wins, it'll be the first time ever in the history of the Guess the Dow that we had the back-to-back winners with the same and first initial of A. So I thought that was a fun fact. Also, some people were concerned you didn't know if you were going to wear pants to the meeting with the big fancy meeting. You should definitely wear pants. That's a good recommendation. Maybe not the suit, but definitely pants.
Oh, well, I'm going to put on, I'm going to wear, undergarments, right? No pants. Oh, they want me to go with the pants. I should go with pants. I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. I should wear, but you mean long pants, not shorts.
I didn't know what you meant. I just want to make sure you have something.
I'd probably put something on. Yeah. No, but that makes sense. That's, yeah. Okay, so pants and a hoodie. I think that's what I'm going to go with. That'd be cool. You think they're gonna probably be a little frustrated. I don't have a tie or something, but we'll see what happens. Hey, by the way, most people don't know this. This whole thing is edited by me and this left hand. So I'm kind of proud of how I just did all that. We shifted around like that. We showed the winner and everything. Got your mic working, mine. Oh man. I mean, if things don't work out here, I might go to production. Let's see what happens. Hey, anyways, speaking of that, I always get that question, who's sitting back there editing that thing? It's just me. I'm just pressing buttons. That's why it's always screwed up. Lastly, let me look at the Russell. So the Russell weak, continuing to be weak, refuses to break out, refuses to honestly refuses to pull back in any meaningful way. It was an across-the-board weakness here today. If you're looking for the fastest way to find pullback stocks, you're going to look into small cap, look in growth, and look in value. Skip the index altogether. That's where the action's at. They're having a little bit of tug of war there, so just wanted to point that out. Also, no, I made this. I'm going to show this here. I spent time on this. Let me go back over here. The relative strength of the Russell versus the S&P changing hands dramatically here. So I'm going to zoom out just so it makes it a little bit more clear. But here is the S&P against the Russell 2000. Look at how the S&P, when the line's moving higher, the S&P is gaining strength and the Russell's getting weaker. When the line's moving lower, Russell gaining strength, S&P getting weaker. We have a little bit of a change in pattern here. A lot of technical traders look at ratios like this. Or relative strength, correlation, however you want to say it. They look at that just as you would a stock. So we'll look at technical patterns there. Downtrends breaking overall. So you got a downtrend breaking here of that relative strength, meaning the Russell's losing its power. And you know that. I've pointed that out to you guys, how the Russell's losing its steam there. Now in third place year to date, by the way. So very interesting there. Also, to dig into a bit of a factor play here, let's look at value versus momentum, quality, and low volatility. So I'm putting all of this on the charts here. A little bit different. We don't always talk about this one here. Value's been killing it. So value is starting to break down here versus the other factors. Factors are known as things like that. You have your low volatility, momentum, value. This is what we call factor. Growth could be another one there. So momentum was keeping up basically all year long. If you look at the orange line there, it's basically keeping up all year long, just about till the end of February. It started to bleed off there just a little bit, and then you had value just plowing ahead. That's been the discussion if you're more of a geek and you like following the overall stock market in a broader sense there. Lower volatilities, of course, had a less than sort of equal run. It normally does the same thing there, underperformed there, and it's very much like our low volatility fund. So we have a mix of different funds here that we build and manage ourselves. Our bottom one, the very, very low one, is a low volatility fund. It's designed really not to move at all, so you have a place to put your savings and stuff without taking really any risk. Well, even that's been moving higher. So if you take a look, if you have anything low volatility, your performance is outperforming what it normally does. It's never going to outperform the stock market, otherwise you're taking too much risk. But it's outperforming its historical average. I don't know that continues overall, but right now I think people are using low volatility funds as like an emergency savings. I know a lot of our clients do that, and I'm just like, yeah, that's all we have. That's what we have to use to get 2-3% yield, but now we happen to be getting growth on top of it. So a bit of a win-win there. All right, moving on. Bitcoin, by the way, still remains in a choppy range for all you crypto people out there. So we got a choppy range here for Bitcoin. It was higher basically all night, overnight, going into today. It did finish higher on the day, 630 points. But still, it's an indecision area. So anytime you see a stock or a sector like this, there's a lot of sectors that look like this. It's an indecision area. It's a tough place to start wanting to put on new positions. Speaking of sectors here with indecision, let's take a look. We look at industrials. So I'm talking ultra short term here, right? Other than that, everything looks great. Ultra short term, you got a little bit of indecision here. The last couple weeks, not really much going on there. If you look at basic materials here today, which was your leading sector, that's great. It's exciting, gained over 1%. But over the past couple weeks, it's actually getting weaker. It's moving sideways near the lows of ranges here, and that's that conversation I keep having. We have 11 sectors in the S&P. If only part of one sector is moving higher and the rest of them are sort of chopping around, not really sure what to do, how does that move the markets higher? That makes it very, very difficult there. So you got basic materials, consumer staples doing the same thing, only not as bad, if we're going to argue that one there. And utilities, same thing. It looks like it's trying. Utilities currently the second highest yielding area as far as sector in the market. Looks like it's trying to get going, not really getting anything going. And then if you dig down further, you look at like transports. This is not a sector, but one of the more popular industries. Nothing. There's just nothing going on there. So really, really tough time to be broadly invested in the market. If you're a stock picker, then you know where you're staying away from. You know where you're headed into. That's clear as day. A couple other things here. We got oil continuing to pull back. So oil's follow through to the downside. You can see it there. Looking good for those of you that want those to pull back. President Biden says he is encouraged by OPEC's continued talks. Why do we care about that? Yeah, I'm gonna pick on the guy for a second. Why do we care if OPEC's talks are going good or bad? Why? Because we're now reliant on them. Just a while ago, we were not reliant on anybody. It didn't matter what they wanted to do. We were just doing our own thing. So a little bit frustrating there from a financial standpoint as a country. What's going on? Why are we encouraged by them? Do whatever they let them do whatever they're going to do. So anyways, that's that one there. We'll probably hear a lot more on that one as well. You got rates hitting their lowest point since about Valentine's Day. You got to go back over here to see the last time rates were this low. It refuses to move higher. That's the Fed in there. Don't fight the Fed. They had their minutes come out from the last meeting. Nothing really new. A little bit of dissection there between who wants to stop purchases of bonds and who wants to continue, but nothing new to really report on there. All right, going over to new highs and lows for the day. Actually, there was a lot of them. 70 new highs representing 8 different sectors there. Tech, what do you say? Breakouts are the continued area where technical traders are just going. They're going to plowing into breakouts. Amazon's a great example of that yesterday. It broke out. Every short-term active trader, investor said, go to Amazon, trade that one. That's what's breaking out. That's the pattern everybody's looking for. So I point out a few of them to you here. Zebra's breakout was the other day. That continues, looking strong there. Arista. ANET is a ticker symbol. Short-term breakout going on there. Not too bad. Crown Castle International is a REIT. Had a good day. Also a little bit of a kind of a sloppy breakout, but it's there. And you might look at REITs if you like these. If you like breakouts. You got SBA. This is also a REIT. Not only breaking out here in the short term, but moving above prior highs. So a lot of blue skies ahead, as they like to say. We got Rockwell. So Rockwell up here, new highs, sloppier breakout, but still made the list today. And Hershey's There's a new breakout for Hershey's. Did exactly what I like to see it happen here. You used up energy. How many times have I said this? You used up energy to get to the highs. You don't want it to break out there. You want it to take a break. What happened? It took a break. Beautiful. Now when you have the breakout, more volume, more attraction, people want to go and actually participate in this versus a stock that runs all the way up, expends a lot of energy, breaks out. What do you want? That's like running almost all the way up the hill and then saying, you think I'm going to keep going? You're a little bit tired, right? We don't want to run up the hill. We want to start from scratch. So that's what you have there. There were no new lows, and there hasn't been for some time, so we'll mark that and move on to stocks in the news here today. Didi. I hope you didn't... I hope nobody's in trouble here, but Didi, the Chinese equivalent of Uber, we talked about this yesterday. The plummet continues. China's got them out of WeChat, which is the biggest probably in the whole planet there. Alibaba, they're just not even in these mixes anymore. They're not even participating. Chinese government very upset that they went public over here in the U.S., and they said that they're going to look at other U.S. Chinese stocks as well. So pretty much everything started off rough today. JD.com, actually Weibo says they're just going to go private. Yeah, that was the one. They're just going to go private. They don't want to deal with all this nonsense. So you got to be careful. If you're going to be going and owning Chinese stocks in there, it looks like they're a little bit going to be tough on that one. They're going to be making some changes as well. Other stocks in the news. LGIH, this is a home builder. We happen to own it, so we do like that one. Obviously like the move here today. LGIH basically says that their closings, like this is completed, closings on homes up 31% overall just in June. It's good news for them. It was also good news for other home builders today. Oh, that's not the right thing. See what happens when you do this? Pulte Homes higher a little bit on the day today. Look around if it's something that you like. Toll Brothers higher. Basically everything. Let's see. Beazer. No, Beazer's no longer. Pulte Homes and the like all did well today, and it's largely because of that news. Visa says that their crypto-linked card usage topped $1 billion. Over $1 billion. That's pretty impressive. That just shows that, crypto's here to stay in one way or another. Maybe not in China, but here in the States, it's becoming more and more. Discovery. So the stock was just a little bit lower today. They said they're not done with trying to acquire other companies. There's a lot of chatter going on right now between Viacom, Discovery, Fox, and all the other media assets of maybe who could be bought out, how could they consolidate a little bit. So that's going to be an area where you can continue to see more news coming out, but that's the news for the day. Point out MasterCard here real quick. MasterCard's paying a dividend, right? Dividend day, 44 cents for MasterCard, Verizon 63 cents, and AT&T 52 cents. So that one coming out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. BMW, by the way. So if you want to trade it here, it's BMWYY. That's an ADR, right? Because they're not from the U.S. They had earnings come out overnight. Sales overall up 7% in the second quarter. All right, you go, that's pretty cool. I'm just browsing through it, taking a look. EV sales, electric cars, up 149%. It is now over 1/5 of their total vehicle sales. That's impressive. I'm not even familiar. I mean, I know the one little sports car looking thing that they have that's electric, but I didn't know they were that popular. So they killed it. Killed it. If you want to look at the ticker symbol, you're going to have BMWYY. So a little bit of a recovery here today. Earnings are mostly overnight, so it's responding to the action overseas. And that's about it. I will take your questions there if you happen to have any while we let this catch up just for a second. You've also got Darden paying out $1.10 in dividends. And General Mills paying out 51 cents. Awesome. We own that stock. Happy to see that. Network Appliances up paying 50 cents in dividends as well. A little bit of shifting going on in the S&P 400, S&P 500, and yeah. Those? Because it's going to come back up again. I promise. These pot stocks, or we call them goofy stocks, so YouTube doesn't ban us. Jeffries. I think Jeffries is like the company. They're extremely positive on pot stocks. What was it that they said? Let's pick one. I want to point this out because it was they said something like, so Jeffries, they think there's 100% upside. Not often you see that there. So 100% upside in some of these goofy stocks there. I thought that was rather interesting. It grabbed attention at least a little bit. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. How do you view the recent collapse of the 10-year to 1.3? Yeah, I mean, I pointed it out. That's why I'm like, okay, that's a rapid move. Sometimes I give grief to Bitcoin and things for being too volatile, not lately. But you don't like to see yields moving that swiftly. Personally, I don't like to see that. It also starts to make people think, hey, maybe that inflation was transitory, right? Was it? I mean, we don't feel that, but maybe it was. So a little bit of shifting going on there. Also, I think that's, if I had to make a bet on it, I think it'd be short-lived, right? Because you're essentially going along with the Fed right now. When they lift their hand off that thing, could you imagine, like, the amount of money that they're spending buying these things right now to keep rates low? When they just start to back off a little bit and let the free market take over, holy cow, could you just imagine some of the moves you're going to see there? Which is going to be good for savers. Maybe it might be tough for investors and traders, but we'll see what happens. Cool. Smart energy, yeah. Well, they said something like 20-something% of all energy used is renewable of one kind or another. Actually, crude oil had a decrease of about 9%. So, I mean, okay, we're using a little bit less, but what we do use, we got to go get elsewhere. That's a tough one there. What do you think about space? Virgin Galactic, SPCE is a ticker symbol. I think if you've been following the news on it, it's been kind of funny lately how you have all of this pullback, basically them saying, we don't make any money, we don't plan on making any money, and we don't know when we're going to put people in space making money. Not 2 days later from that headline, go back to this right here, around 5:17. Not 2 days later, they go, we're going to space, right? We're going to put that plane back up in the air, we're going to fly it, and turns out Richard Branson's going to be on that thing too. They did a test flight, but the next one he's going to be on. So fascinating to watch. I find it very difficult to pay $44, now $45 a share on the prospect of future earnings. And I know every company you're investing in for future earnings, but the concept of going from no earnings to all of a sudden really, really good earnings, look at the valuation on this thing. It's a little bit tough to get excited about as an investment. Yeah. There's a lot of SEC lawsuits going on right now, Tom. I think a lot of them are going to be dropped. Actually, they've started changing them. There was one where they were going to go after 500 and some congressmen and women plus Nancy Pelosi. Then they dropped Nancy Pelosi's name, and then they dropped a couple other names. The Broadcom one's already changed 3 or 4 times. So I think it's just the environment of having new leadership. I think that's probably what you see. Think about if you're on that side. You've got to come out strong. You've got to come out with. It's like being like the DA for some state or something. You got to come out strong with a big case, grab attention and everything. I think that's what they're just picking, trying to find where is that going to be. Yeah. Oh yeah. What stock is the safest to invest in for beginners? That's well, I would never just pick just one stock, first of all. And then the term safe doesn't really exist. So anyone in the financial space shouldn't, it's like a 4-letter word we wouldn't use because every stock has its risks. So if you're thinking you're in a position where you can't take any risk, you're looking at a low volatility ETF. That's probably where I would start, at least to start doing your research there. Yeah. Lawyers, the most admired job in the world, huh? Yeah, Harry, that was pretty shady. I mean, that happens all the time, but the whole Amazon thing she did, the Tesla trade earlier in the year, her husband does them really, but I mean, come on. Isn't that something we can all agree on too? Like, we find these little things that we could all just kind of say, yeah, that's not right. What's going on there? If I go to jail for the same thing, but she gets away with it, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I think both sides could agree on that. We'll see what happens there. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. I got to go pick up the one branch that fell at our house here tonight because that's what happened. A kind of uneventful evening. But I appreciate you guys sticking around here and giving me the suggestion to wear pants. I think I'll wear pants for sure. Yeah, appreciate that. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.